I have lived more in my head than I lived in real life. Most of my suffering comes from what I have in my head. Most of my enjoyment is from a delusional reality that I made up with a construction of my head that doesn't even exist. I tend to overanalyze events that happened, replay conversations that happen again and again and again in my head. Also practice conversation with people that will probably never happen. Especially after a certain point, it's almost useless for me to playing around with the potential conversation that will happen. I like to imagine success, the place that I will be, how I will be popular, and this literally gives me dopamine. It makes me happy and excited, but this is all in my head. It's in my own imagination. I don't know, you have to be the same. It doesn't feel like daydreaming. Sometimes it feels like I'm running full-on simulations. Like, I remember when I wanted to go and ask for more money from my boss, we were running for 2 days in my head and with my wife, again and again, trying to figure out exactly every single path that can go through, what will happen, and what I will do to fix it. And it's funny, this conversation went literally like nothing we ever imagined, like it was completely useless. I didn't get the money, by the way, at the end. We lost 2 days and so much stress from our lives for nothing, just for playing. It almost feels like life is secondary to the one that I made in my head. I'm playing this imaginary game of myself. Sometimes we like to say with my wife, presence, and this is a special word we are using to ground us to what is happening right now. Like when we eat, sometimes we eat like animals and we go as fast as possible. We don't talk, we watch movies, and we try to use the word presence to ground us and to remind us to be in reality because we are not. When we walk, we forget to even look up and look at the trees. We are in our own head looking at the floor. Even right now, I'm talking to you and I just realized that, oh my God, I'm present. My feelings, like I was just so in my head thinking about my thoughts that I wasn't even here. I was in my head. I don't know, saying these things out loud makes me feel almost schizophrenic or something, but I have a feeling that you are the same as me. Or I guess there is some people, there is a tribe out there that we are similar, and I want us to come together. It's interesting, like in your hand, you kind of control the outcomes. There is no rejection, there is no bad outcomes. Especially when I was going out and I was trying to find my partner and now my wife. It was so painful to be in the real world. When I was playing the conversation of me going and talking to a girl, it was so easy. But actually going out and actually talking to someone is like so painful. So it was so much easier to just like hide within my head and not having to face the real world, you know? Like you can be funnier, smarter, like everything feels better in my head when I'm playing it, right? I kind of like detach from the results because I know that always the results will be good, so I'm not in pain. And I don't know, like I feel that it's so alluring going through this life. Like it feels so good to do that, but there is cost to that. You lose real opportunities, you lose the real life when you do that. If at the end I didn't have the balls to go to Canada and ask out my now wife Anu, I wouldn't be where I am and I wouldn't have the life I have right now. I would still be alone in New York in this tiny room. The other thing that I see is that my confidence was very low. Because we don't get real feedback or because we don't get real success, the dopamine in our brain is getting confused and doesn't, it understands at some point that whatever happens in our head is not real, is not important. So our confidence is actually getting lower because we are very scared to get out of the apartment and actually experience life. So the more I was in my head, the more I was playing these games in my head, actually the less confident I was becoming. It's interesting. What happens is that at some point, and what happened to me is that I started identifying myself as an overthinker. And there is something I was reading in Greek philosophy about overthinking, which was almost like a vice. Aristotle was talking about how powerful it is to actually take action and move quickly towards a goal, and that it is almost a sin to be overthinking and to overanalyzing something because you don't really know what will be the result. And it's kind of like you're overindulging on you theoretically trying to predict the future, even though at a certain point after a while you just can't. You think that you're preparing, but you actually are avoiding. Like I want you to think right now, how many times you actually avoided and you lost a really important opportunity or a huge life-turning moment because you were in your head preparing, which is actually avoiding. This is the moment that you can actually shift realities, and we are losing this moment because we are in our heads. It's very dangerous actually, because at least for me, at some point, I was imagining entire phases of life and that never really happened. It felt like it happened in my head. And I was looking back in time and I was like, what was I doing in my past 1 year of my life? Like, I want you to think, was your last year an effective year, or it was just useless and you just lost a whole year of this very small amount of time that we are here? Because I was doing that, I was there. I was squandering and wasting this unbelievable opportunity to be in this earth. Right now, it's very important for me, and I'm trying actively to turn my visualization into action. Every time I have something in my head, I go straight and I take action for this. What we do with my wife is that I'm trying to have that more into a manifestation, that I'm putting energy towards a direction in order to make something real. There is actually a turning point, and this is the moment I want you to understand that clarity doesn't come from thinking, but it comes from doing, actually taking action and getting the outcome from, getting the feedback from the real world, even the positive or the negative feedback, and learning from that. Real life is always gonna be messier than your thoughts, but this is part of life. And you have to accept that. I know it's hard, but when you do, it's gonna be massive for you. That's what I was thinking. For the love of God, subscribe, comment hello, and like, because the fucking algorithm is brutal. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you.